It was late October 1984. In the quiet village of Anhausen, West Germany, a man named Günther Stoll sat beside his wife, distracted and anxious. The television flickered in their living room, but Günther wasn't watching. His mind was elsewhere. For months, he had been plagued by paranoia, convinced he was being watched, hunted even, by a group of unnamed individuals he simply referred to as them. He spoke of this mysterious collective with growing urgency, yet refused to say who they were or why they wanted to harm him. At exactly 11 p.m., something seemed to snap. Günther leapt from his seat, shouting, "Now I've got it!" He scribbled a strange combination of letters, YOGTZE, onto a slip of paper. Then, just as quickly, he crossed it out. Without explaining what it meant, Günther left his house, jumped into his Volkswagen Golf, and disappeared into the night. It would be the last time his wife saw him alive. Hours later, 2 truck drivers were heading down the A45 Autobahn near Hagen-Süd when they spotted a car that appeared to have crashed into a tree. Just beyond the wreckage, they saw a man stumbling in the dark, clad in a white jacket. But as they drew closer, he vanished into the shadows. They pulled over to help. One ran to call emergency services. The other checked the car. In the passenger seat lay a naked, bloodied man, still alive, barely conscious. It was Günther Stoll. He was disoriented, muttering incoherently, but he managed to say one chilling thing: that there had been 4 men in the car with him, and they had beaten him before fleeing. Despite efforts to keep him awake, Günther died en route to the hospital. But something didn't add up. The crash did not explain his injuries. Forensic experts concluded he had not sustained his wounds in the collision. His car keys had been removed from the ignition and placed neatly on the rear shelf. His shoes were tucked under the driver's seat. His body was covered in leaves and dirt, as though he'd been lying in the woods before being placed in the vehicle. Police believed someone had struck Günther with a car elsewhere, then moved his injured body into the passenger seat of his own vehicle, staged a crash, and fled. But if that was the case, who were the 4 men he mentioned? Who staged the scene, and why? In the days that followed, investigators tried to piece together his final hours. After leaving home, Günther had gone to a bar in Wilnsdorf. Witnesses said he sat down, ordered a drink, and before even taking a sip, collapsed. He hit his face on the floor, bleeding. He wasn't intoxicated. Patrons helped him up. He said he'd had a blackout, drank a juice, and left. Then there's a 2-hour gap. He vanished. At 1 a.m., he appeared in his hometown of Heigeschielbach, knocking on the door of a woman he had known since childhood. She refused to let him in, but he warned her, something terrible is going to happen tonight. She urged him to go to his family. He refused and vanished again. By 3 a.m., he was found dying beside the Autobahn. The case was strange enough, but it took a bizarre turn 6 months later when his wife revealed something she had previously withheld. The note. The letters Günther had scribbled before leaving. YOGTZE. She'd thrown it away, thinking it meant nothing. But now, it became the centerpiece of a mystery. No one could agree on what it meant. Linguists, cryptographers, amateur sleuths. No one could decode it. Some thought it was a license plate. Others suggested it was a radio call sign, possibly Romanian. A few believed it was an anagram. One theory pointed to the word zygote, linking it to his work as a food engineer. Some even speculated that Günther had uncovered something dangerous. Illegal additives, perhaps, that made him a target. Others leaned into more outlandish theories, secret societies, military codes, or even extraterrestrials.
The mystery aired on German television in 1985, and thousands of viewers sent in tips. Some claimed to have seen a man in a white jacket near the crash. Yet despite follow-ups, this man was never identified. The case faded from headlines, but never from memory. Years passed, Investigators revisited the evidence with new forensic technology. DNA found in the vehicle belonged only to Günther, no trace of the 4 alleged men. Some began to question whether the note ever existed at all. Was his wife's memory reliable? Or had she fabricated the detail to keep the case alive in the media? Psychologists offered a different theory. They believed Günther's final days reflected a psychotic break, months of paranoia culminating in delusions. In this version, the note was meaningless, the 4 men hallucinated, and the crash a tragic result of mental illness. Perhaps he had undressed in confusion, wandered into the road, and was hit by a car. Maybe the driver panicked and staged the scene. Or perhaps no one else was involved at all. But that explanation raised its own questions. How did the keys end up on the rear shelf? Why were his shoes neatly placed? Why did 2 witnesses, independently, see a man in a white jacket at the scene? Could a psychotic man remove his keys mid-drive, toss them behind him, and neatly place his shoes before crashing? It's possible, but unlikely. Then, in 2025, German authorities announced a final conclusion. New forensic analysis ruled out the presence of other individuals. They officially classified the case as a tragic accident caused by mental illness. The mystery, in their eyes, was solved. Yet many remain unconvinced. The case of Günther Stoll continues to fascinate because it sits at the edge of certainty. Every piece of evidence leads to more questions. Every theory has holes. Was it a murder? A psychotic episode? An elaborate cover-up? Or was it just a man crying for help in a world that wasn't listening?